Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is Scriv Sports Show. On this first episode, I'll be diving into my first of 4 mock drafts between now and the actual draft in April. This first one, now that we have an official draft order following the Rams Super Bowl win over the Bengals, the other 3 will come after the Combine, after all the pro days, and then a day or so before the draft itself. This is just a first round mock. I'm not even going to try and attempt to guess what trades might occur because, God, that's impossible. All right, enough said. Let's get right to it. The first pick, the 2022 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Evan Neal, tackle, Alabama. The Jaguars' top priority should be to protect their franchise quarterback. Neal is the best offensive lineman in this draft and would be a day one starter. A franchise tackle to pair with the franchise QB. The second pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Aiden Hutchinson, edge rusher, Michigan. There isn't a good enough QB to take at number 2 overall in this draft, in my opinion. So the Lions look to improve their defense by taking arguably the best defensive player in the draft. The hometown kid would be an immediate upgrade to a pass rush that was near non-existent last year. For the first time in a couple years, the Houston Texans, with their first round pick at number 3, take Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher, Oregon. While Houston could go offensive line, as it is still a huge need for them, or maybe reach for a quarterback if they don't quite trust Davis Mills, I think they take the best player available and improve upon a defense that started to come to form at the end of last season. Now, with defensive-minded Lovie Smith at the helm, this is a great pick to start the turnaround in Houston. At number 4, the first of 2 picks for the New York Jets, I have them taking Ikem Ekwonu, the offensive tackle from North Carolina State. Zach Wilson was running for his life for most of last season. And I know Mekhi Becton was out, but the rest of the line wasn't that good. Ekwonu can play inside or outside and would be an immediate upgrade. Top priority should be to protect their franchise quarterback. With the 5th pick and first of 2 they have in the top 10, I have the New York Giants taking safety Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. The Giants need offensive line as bad as anyone. But at number 5, any of the remaining offensive linemen would be a bit of a reach here, in my opinion. So, they take the best safety in the draft and make new defensive coordinator Don Martindale very happy. You can never have too many quality defensive backs, and with the Giants potentially losing Jabril Peppers and Julian Love and possibly Logan Ryan, safety might actually become a big need for them. At number 6, the Carolina Panthers are going to select Jordan Davis, interior defensive lineman from Georgia. Carolina could go so many different ways with this pick, but I think they shore up the run defense, which was inconsistent at best. When they won, it was great. When they lost, it was terrible. Shoring up the run defense and forcing teams to pass against the secondary that they have is a recipe for success in Carolina. With the 7th pick and the 2nd pick for the New York Giants that they got from the Chicago Bears last year, I have the Giants taking Tyler Linderbaum, center from Iowa. Here's the O-line help the Giants need. While taking a center this high may seem sacrilegious to some, I'd argue center is the second most important position on the offensive line, behind blindside tackle. And this guy has graded out to be the best center ever coming out of college. With Nick Gates' future in doubt, who knows if he's going to walk again, let alone play football, and the state that the Giants line is in, 4 of the 5 positions there need revamping, they can't afford to not take the top offensive lineman available here, even if it might be considered a reach. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons are going to take George Karlaftis, edge rusher, Purdue. Atlanta hasn't been able to rush the passer since their Super Bowl run in 2016. Take the best pass rusher still on the board and start to build some consistency on that defense. At number 9, the Denver Broncos are going to take quarterback Kenny Pickett from Pitt. If Denver doesn't land Aaron Rodgers, they're going to need a quarterback. Drew Lock is not the answer, and Teddy Bridgewater is no longer the franchise quarterback the Vikings hoped he would have been. Bridgewater can be used to bridge the gap, pun intended, in a similar manner to what the Chiefs did with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. Pickett is probably the best quarterback available, And the Broncos are a quarterback away from competing. Get the best guy and get back to winning. At number 10, and the second pick from the New York Jets, which they got from the Seahawks, I have them taking Derek Stingley Jr., corner, LSU. They got some O-line help, so why not get some defense help? Stingley Jr. might be the best corner in the draft, although Ahmad Gardner has an argument there. And the Jets could use some help at the position. Plus, with a defensive-minded head coach, he'll be making a very strong case to take a defensive player with one of these top 10 picks. At number 11, the newly named Washington Commanders are going to take quarterback Desmond Ridder. New name, new quarterback. Heineke played well, but he proved why he hasn't been a starter in the league. Fitzpatrick is as inconsistent as ever. One game, he looks like Tom Brady. The next, he looks like Nathan Peterman. Plus, at 39, turning 40 during the season, doesn't have much football left. Who the number 2 QB is in the draft is up for debate, but I think Washington takes Ridder since he'll be available. Matt Corral's knee injury might keep him out for a bit. Has played better competition than Malik Willis and was genuinely impressive this year. Being the first quarterback to take a group of 5 team to the college football playoff will get him some major points in the eyes of some GMs. And while Ridder may need some time to develop, he'll become a fine NFL quarterback. Number 12, the Minnesota Vikings will take corner Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. Minnesota needs help in a few places, but defensive back might be their biggest. They cut Rashad Breeland near the end of the season. Patrick Peterson isn't getting any younger and is set to be a free agent, and the rest of their depth chart leaves a lot to be desired. Is Ahmad Gardner better? Probably, but Booth Jr. is ranked a bit higher in the rankings I used, and he stood out on a very talented Clemson defense. While this is certainly a coin flip pick, I have the coin landing on Booth. Number 13. The Cleveland Browns select Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. After Odell Beckham Jr. left, it quickly became apparent at the lack of quality the Browns had at wide receiver. Whomever the quarterback is going to be in Cleveland next year, they're going to need someone to throw the ball to. In steps Garrett Wilson, the shifty, quick, and explosive wide receiver from Ohio State. As an Ohio State fan, I watched him a lot these past couple of years, and he was the best wide receiver on the team. Yes, even better than Chris Olave. Wilson has excellent ball control, body control, spatial awareness, and downfield threat ability. He might be the best wide receiver in the class. That is totally a biased opinion on my part, and will be a stud in the NFL. With pick number 14, the Baltimore Ravens are going to take DeMarvin Leal, defensive lineman, Texas A&M. The Ravens don't really need a whole lot. Maybe a new training staff or a new practice field, but you can't draft those. So instead, I think they're going to take the best defensive lineman still available at this point. Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams aren't getting any younger, and Justin Houston is set to be a free agent. So taking Leal here will help to inject some youth and some great talent onto a defensive line that's going to need it, especially in a year or two. With the first of 3 first-round picks at 15, the Philadelphia Eagles from the Miami Dolphins will take linebacker Devin Lloyd from Utah. With this first of 3 first-round picks, the Eagles find themselves with the best linebacker in the draft. He can go sideline to sideline, play in coverage, or rush the passer if need be. He is a do-it-all linebacker and will be a perennial All-Pro. This should be as easy and surefire a pick as the Eagles can make. The last time they were in this situation, they took Jalen Reagor instead of Justin Jefferson. So who knows what the hell they're going to do here. At 16, with the second of 3 first-round picks, the Philadelphia Eagles, from the Indianapolis Colts, will take Kenyon Green, offensive lineman from Texas A&M. With pick number 2, it's time to fix that not-so-great offensive line. The offensive line, in fact, that broke Carson Wentz. Green is a great interior offensive lineman and will be an immediate upgrade over whomever the Eagles have at guard. I do not know who it is, and there's probably a good reason for that. At 17, the Los Angeles Chargers will take David Ojabo, edge rusher from Michigan. The Chargers need help on defense. They need so much help on defense. And Ojabo is the best pass rusher still available. Seems like a good match, in my opinion. Ojabo got overshadowed at Michigan by fellow edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson, but Ojabo was no slouch. He had 11 sacks this past season and knows how to get to the quarterback. Pair him with Joey Bosa, and that is one scary pass rush brewing in Los Angeles. With pick number 18, I have the New Orleans Saints taking Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State. The Saints could go a few directions here. Quarterback is certainly a possibility, but I think they go wide receiver for the fact that I don't know who they'll have to catch passes if they don't pick a wide receiver here. Their cap situation is terrible, so free agency is probably out of the question for a wide receiver. Michael Thomas's status is still up in the air. Who knows when or if he'll ever be back, and if he'll even be the same as he was pre-injury. And the rest of the wide receivers are okay, but not great. In fact, they haven't had a true number 2 in years. I think the Saints are able to get Winston back on at least a 1-year prove-it deal, and getting him some pass catchers would go a long way in helping him prove it. Olave is a great downfield threat, perfect for a big-arm quarterback in Winston. Olave also has great body control and great hands. With their third and final first-round pick, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 19 take Trayvon Walker, edge rusher, Georgia. Focusing more on the defense again, could have gone with Nakobe Dean and given the Eagles the best linebacker group in the country, but instead, I think they're going to give Joshua Sweat a buddy on the opposite side of the defensive line to terrorize quarterbacks with. Showing up their front 7 on D and becoming an immediate NFC East contender, if not just an NFC contender in general. Pick number 20. The Pittsburgh Steelers will take Matt Corral, quarterback, Ole Miss. Quarterback is the biggest need on this team. Second biggest need would be offensive line, but quarterback is a bit higher up there for me. Unless Mike Tomlin thinks he can get something out of Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, they have to go quarterback here. Matt Corral is almost the polar opposite of Big Ben. Corral is quick, mobile, and works best in an RPO offense and doesn't have the biggest arm. I think the Steelers will now transition into a new era with a new offensive scheme and work with Matt Corral to get as much success out of him as possible. It's going to be a new era of Steelers football, and Matt Corral is going to be leading the way. Plus, since they're probably not going to be able to fix the offensive line in one offseason, Matt's mobility is going to be huge for them, so he doesn't get sacked as much. Pick number 21. The New England Patriots will select Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. Wide receiver is still the Patriots' biggest need. It was on display in the playoff game against Buffalo, and Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, and Kendrick Bourne do not strike fear in the hearts of defensive coordinators. They're fine, complementary pieces, but none of them are stars. And the Patriots need a star at wide receiver. A big play receiver who Mac Jones can lean on in the clutch. Jameson Williams is that wide receiver. He is blazing fast, can go up and grab jump balls, and will constantly be downfield behind defenses or just running right by them. The evil empire of football just gained another dangerous weapon. Bill Belichick's never going anywhere, is he? At number 22, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ahmad Garner, cornerback, Cincinnati. Simply put, he's still the best player available. Should probably be a top 10 pick, and somehow in my mock draft I have him falling all the way to 22. The Raiders could use help on defense, and Sauce Gardner is an immediate impact player. Day 1 starter and will help to lock up those dangerous AFC West wide receivers. Tyreek Hill, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, Mike Williams. At number 23, the Arizona Cardinals will select Charles Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State. Kyler Murray was running for his life all too often last season. Cross is the best lineman still available, and the Cardinals should absolutely take him to help Murray out, especially considering it seems like Murray isn't happy in Arizona. You're just going to have to Google that. It's too much to get into here. An upright quarterback is a happy quarterback, and an upright Kyler Murray is a dangerous Kyler Murray. With pick number 24, the Dallas Cowboys will select Roger McCreary, corner, Auburn. This defense is bad. That secondary is bad. Trayvon Diggs can't cover everyone. He even struggles just to cover one person sometimes. And he can't always be everywhere to intercept passes. He needs help, and McCreary will be that help. The Cowboys could go linebacker here, but that secondary is a more pressing need in my opinion. At 25, the Buffalo Bills will take Kyer Elam, corner from Florida. Bit of a trend going on here in case you haven't noticed. We saw what happened after Trey White went down for the year. The Bills' cornerback depth got exposed, especially against Kansas City in the playoffs. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. You can never have enough quality defensive backs, especially in today's pass-happy league. If Buffalo finally wants to beat their playoff demon in Kansas City and handle any of the other high-powered AFC offenses, looking at you, Cincinnati, they are going to need cornerback help. And Elam is the best available and a damn good corner at that. At 26, the Tennessee Titans will take Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Georgia. The Titans could take wide receiver, as we saw how poorly their offense was without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. But that defense is going to need a bit of an upgrade, and Nakobe Dean is a phenomenal player. He's the best still on the board, and probably should go higher than 26. Dude is fast, smart, and can match up with any running back or tight end. And he gets after the quarterback if he is asked to get after the quarterback. He will be a wrecking ball on that defense, and the 25 teams in front of the Titans will wish they had picked them. At 27, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take wide receiver Treylon Burks from Arkansas. Antonio Brown might have danced his way out of the NFL, and Chris Godwin was probably going to sign elsewhere this free agency, which leaves Tampa Bay thin at wide receiver. I don't think they drafted Kyle Trask last year just to turn around and draft another quarterback this year, now that that position has become a bit of a question mark with Tom Brady's retirement. So I think Kyle gets a chance to prove he can start in the NFL, and he gets some help with Treylon Burks. Burks was the Arkansas passing game last year. He's by far their best wide receiver. Everyone knew he was getting the ball, and they still couldn't stop him. Pair him with Mike Evans, and no one in Tampa Bay is going to be missing Chris Godwin or Antonio Brown. Okay, they might miss Chris Godwin, but I don't think they're going to miss Antonio Brown. At pick number 28, I have the Green Bay Packers taking Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State. Terrible cap situation, many high-profile players becoming free agents, and question marks as to who will be the quarterback week 1 in Green Bay. All signs are pointing to Jordan Love being that quarterback. And if it is Love, who's he going to throw the ball to? Devontae Adams is a free agent and will command a lot of money that Green Bay doesn't currently have. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Alan Lazard, and Equanimous St. Brown, I think I said that wrong, we're going to keep it, are all free agents. That's their top 4 wide receivers, plus Robert Tonyan, their top tight end, all potentially gone. If Jordan Love really is going to be Green Bay's quarterback of the future, he's going to have someone to throw the ball to. Jahan Dotson might be the most underrated wide receiver in the draft. He could easily be the first wide receiver taken. He is that talented. He carried the Penn State offense this past 2 years. He's fast, he can grab jump balls, and has great awareness and body control. Dude is an absolute stud. With pick number 29, the Miami Dolphins, got this pick from the San Francisco 49ers, are going to take Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Illinois. Gotta protect Tua. You gotta protect Tua. You've got to protect Tua. This was the motto last year, and it should still be the motto this year. The Dolphins' offensive line was not that good. If Tua is going to continue to quarterback this team, he can't do it from the ground. Take the flyer on the FCS kid and watch as he becomes a staple on the line. And watch as Tua will now have time to actually throw the football. With pick number 30, the Kansas City Chiefs will take Jaquan Brisker, safety from Penn State. Kansas City's defense is just okay. Everyone's going to say they need a pass rusher, maybe a linebacker, but I say nay. Their biggest problem on that defense for many years now, outside of maybe the Super Bowl run, the one they won, is that secondary. Tyrann Mathieu and the Jarius Sneed are about the only defensive backs on this team I trust with covering anybody or doing anything, really. Brisker is smart, versatile, and a game wrecker. Kansas City will be much more dangerous on defense with him. A day 1 starter and a long-time staple on this defense. With pick number 31, the Cincinnati Bengals will select Zion Johnson, offensive guard, Boston College. 70. That's how many times Burrow was sacked this year, including the playoffs. If the Bengals want to make it back to the Super Bowl, and perhaps win one, Burrow needs to not only be alive, but standing as well. The Bengals don't address the offensive line in any way. We might see the first on-field death of a football player in decades. The interior offensive line was a huge problem for the Bengals. Just watch Aaron Donald in the Super Bowl. And Zion Johnson is going to help solidify that up. He was great at Boston College. He is smart, strong, and can block with the best of them. Maybe now Burrow will stop having nightmares about Aaron Donald sacking him. And with the 32nd and final pick in the first round, the Detroit Lions, via the Los Angeles Rams, are going to take wide receiver Drake London from USC. They already took defense with pick number 1, so why not go offense with pick number 2 here for the Lions? Jared Goff will more than likely be the starter for at least one more year. In order to get the most out of him, they should add another pass catcher. Drake London is big. Maybe not Calvin Johnson big, but still big. He's 6'5". He'll have no problem going over defenders to catch jump balls and end zone fades. A great compliment to Amon St. Brown. Thank you so much for joining me on this first episode of Scriv Sports Show. I hope to have a couple more videos out this month, so be on the lookout for a video on the MLB lockout and mock draft number 2. Thanks again, and goodbye.